All right, hello everyone, and welcome back for another Grow Nebraska webinar. Be sure to find the chat box down below and pop a hello and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear. And of course, the chat box is where you're going to be best to communicate with us. So if you have any questions, be sure to pop them in the chat and our presenters will answer them at the end. So today's topic is ALLO's growth and leveraging social media to find new teammates. So we'll go ahead and get started. First, I'm going to wait to click the slide. We want to say thank you to Center for Rural Affairs for being a partner and a sponsor of Grow Nebraska. We really enjoy working with them. So we have this message from Nikki with their team. So I'm going to let that play quick here.
Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, sponsored by the Center for Rural Affairs. My name is Nikki Chitwood, and I'm the Panhandle Loan Specialist. As one of the many services we provide, I am here to introduce to you our lending services. When a bank can't help you with your dreams of homeownership or growing a business, the Center for Rural Affairs can. We offer coaching and financing to help you become a homeowner and start or grow a sustainable business. Please feel free to contact me at 308-631-0157, or you can visit cfra.org for more information.
All right, thank you, Nicole, for that awesome video, but we're going to keep moving along. Our featured sponsor is Nebraska Tourism Commission. For those of you that don't know, we have partnered with them to do our Market Tech Conference. It's been great, and we're so thankful to have them a sponsor of Grow Nebraska. And then our featured member this month is Glowing Creation, and he has been a member since 2022. So if you're needing some fun yard decor for spring, he is your guy. He makes a lot of fun glowing things. And this week's presenter is two wonderful gals from the ALLO team. We have Janessa and Chasity. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share and let them take it over.
Thank you, Zoe, so much for that introduction. Hi, I'm Chasity.
And I'm Janessa, and we are here to chat with you today about how you can leverage social media to find new teammates and aid in your company's growth and hiring efforts.
We did want to mention that the presentation today is going to focus heavily on how ALLO specifically has used social media to help with our hiring efforts. But a lot of the tips and tricks that we're going to cover today, you too can use in your to perfect your social media strategy, no matter what the goal is. Before we get started, we just wanted to take a moment to tell you a little bit more about ourselves. So as a little girl, I was always fascinated with stories about the human experience. And so I knew going into college that I really wanted a career where I would get the opportunity to tell those types of stories. And so I graduated from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln in 2016 with a Bachelor of Journalism degree. And since then, I've really been working on perfecting my knack for storytelling, creating engaging graphics, as well as the customer experience. And I've had the great opportunity to work for many different companies, from newspapers to local utilities, and now telecommunications. I'm proud to say that I've been a part of the ALLO journey for almost 4 years, and I really can't wait to see what the future holds for us.
Yeah, so my name is Janessa, and growing up, I always wanted to be a nurse. For the longest time, I wanted to be a baby nurse because I just loved everything about babies. Then I kind of wanted to go into like emergency medicine, but this was quickly changed one day when I was probably about 16 and my brother had the stomach flu. This quickly made me change my mind. I have always enjoyed being creative, and so I pursued a degree at Hastings College in Business Administration and Marketing, where I graduated in 2019. I've worked in social media and marketing for 7 years in various different industries, ranging from animal supplies to general contracting, specialty pharmaceuticals, and now telecommunications. I have been on the ALLO team for 7 months.
Sorry about that. So just a little bit about ALLO. ALLO was founded in 2003 in Imperial, Nebraska by Brad Moline, who is our CEO and president. The goal when he started the company was to end the digital divide. So what does that mean for us? That means that we want to provide exceptional fiber internet, TV, and phone services to residents and businesses in the communities that we serve. Last year, we had our 20th anniversary. That's what we call for our anniversary. So we've been in business now for a little bit over 20 years. If you were to ask any of the employees who have been with us for 2+ decades, they would tell you at that time when the company was started that they knew that we were going to change the game. But I really don't think that anyone would have thought that we would have grown to be as big as we are today. Just a few years ago in 2017, we had 300 employees and served 7 communities just in the state of Nebraska. Now we're 55+ communities, yes, counting. That is between Nebraska, Colorado, and Arizona. Within the past year, we've added 3 new Facebook pages, bringing our total to 4, as well as another LinkedIn page. So we've got 2 there on LinkedIn. And we're also on Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and Reddit. So as you can imagine, with all of that growth, we had a challenge in front of us. So 4 of our core values here at ALLO are to be exceptional, honest, hassle-free, and local. Local being the biggest one, especially when we're talking about hiring, because we want to make sure that we hire folks who live and play in the communities that we're serving, that they can help us build our network, run day-to-day operations, but also be a face for ALLO in the community as well. So if you're presented with a similar challenge, or if you just want to tweak your social media strategy, we definitely recommend starting with finding your audience first. Janessa and I found this interesting fact. 86% of job seekers use social media today to find their next career opportunity. And that was from a study done by Career Arc in 2021. We also found that 72% of folks that are using LinkedIn are using it for finding a new job, 60% on Facebook, and another 37% on Instagram. So when you see those numbers, you do have to kind of process, where is my target audience? What else can I find out about them? And what's going to be the best way to reach them as well? Luckily, LinkedIn has some great analytics that you can find on your LinkedIn page. To do that, you'll just click on analytics and select either visitors or followers. Visitors, of course, are going to be those people that are just looking at your page. Maybe they're trying to find out more about what you do, who you are. Followers are going to be those folks that are really interested in following your story and your messaging. Then when you're there, you'll just choose the date range that you're looking for the specific data and scroll down to either the bottom of the follower or visitor page to look at the demographics. What we like about that is it does show us where those folks live, what their job is, what industry they may work in, and what level of seniority they have. So for us, for example, recently we've changed up our strategy on LinkedIn to focus on more professional roles. As you can see, the data speaks for itself there. A lot of our followers are in sales, business development, information technology, which of course shouldn't be a surprise with the field that we're in. But the other thing that we found is we don't really have very many followers on our LinkedIn page that are in customer success or support or some of those entry-level positions. So since then, we've actually removed those types of job postings from our LinkedIn page, and we've transitioned those to Facebook. Facebook does have some interesting data as well as far as your audience demographics are concerned. Really easy to find that information too. Once you log into your Facebook page, you're going to go into the Meta Business Suite. Of course, click Insights and then just go down to Audience. And you can view your average fan and follower and also where they're located. So for us, for example, our target demographic on Facebook are going to be moms between the age of 25 to 44. And a lot of that audience lives in Lincoln. And then second would be North Platte and Scottsbluff. And you can see how that tailors down towards the bottom there in Fremont. So we know if we're posting an entry-level position and it's in Lincoln, we're going to get a lot of engagement on our Facebook page because that's who our audience is.
Okay, so this leads us to finding out which platforms are the best for our business. So the first question you might want to ask yourself is, what do you offer? Do you operate a business-to-business experience, or are you a business-to-consumer company? There are so many platforms out there that you can advertise your business on. You know, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Just on this slide, there's TikTok, even Snapchat, YouTube, and X, which used to be Twitter. And so which ones of these platforms are really worth your time? As Chasity kind of mentioned a little bit ago, researching your demographic is important. So going into the back end of each of those platforms, you know, and seeing which age ranges are, you know, targeted in each of those social media platforms. And you can also do some research online too, saying, you know, where can I target women who are between the ages of 25 and 44? And you can get some good resources there as well. If you're operating a business to consumer page, some of the best platforms to have a presence on are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I am very guilty of mindlessly scrolling all of these platforms pretty much daily. And I've even become victim to some online shopping, which everyone is guilty of at one point or another. And so for kids and young adults who are ages 18 to 29 years old, 41% of people in this age range use Snapchat every day to consume social media, and 35% of these people are using TikTok. I can understand this because my brother falls right into this age range, and he won't respond to a text message. If you want to talk to him, you have to use Snapchat, and that's how him and all of his buddies communicate. So I totally understand that one. Ages 30 to 39-year-olds, 34% of these people use LinkedIn and 30% of Facebook users. I also really understand this one because I am getting a lot closer to 30, and those are two of the platforms that I use daily. Ages 40 to 49-year-olds, we see 25% of them use LinkedIn and 22% use Facebook. And then 50 to 64-year-olds, 29% primarily use Facebook and 24% use LinkedIn. So as you can see, between the ages of 30 and 64, that makes up a huge percentage of the people who use Facebook and LinkedIn. So then the last thing to think about is, where are your competitors? It's important to have a presence where your competitors do, but you don't want to waste your time on a platform that's not going to help you. So what we would recommend is to look at, you know, where your competitors are at and how their posts are performing. If they're not performing well, it doesn't make sense to throw time and resources towards those platforms. As Chasity mentioned earlier, our strategy on Facebook is for hiring is to post our entry-level positions. This includes field work, customer service, and our first impression specialists, which are the folks that sit out at the front of our store and greet our customers as they walk in. On LinkedIn, we highlight professional positions, including sales, managerial positions, human resources, marketing, and a few other jobs are sprinkled in there as well. And then Instagram is kind of where we have some fun. We love showing off the culture at ALLO. We think it's a great place to work. And so we have some fun trending reels. We use employee testimonials and overall just kind of give a fun vibe on our Instagram page. because it is linked to our hiring page on the ALLO website as well.
So now that you know which social media platforms you should be on, who your audience is, and what some of their demographics are, it's time to move into the next phase, which is creating your content calendar. A content calendar is basically just a schedule of all of the messages that you want to share for each and every single platform every single month. Ours, for example, is just a basic Excel spreadsheet. We've seen some that are a little bit more advanced than that. We've also seen some that are just a list. But it's a great way to stay on top of what those messages are, whether it's about education, you're doing sales posts, or it's even about hiring someone else on your team. So for us specifically, to go back a step, we developed a content calendar, or excuse me, not a content calendar, a content audit. So we work specifically with our HR and recruiting team to determine which are the most important careers that we need to focus on every single month. And then from there, we kind of strategize which social media platform we're going to put those on. We can't stress this enough. When you're creating your content calendar or creating any of your content, you have to make room for creativity. Audiences today, they want entertainment, they want a quick laugh. So it's really about thinking outside of the box. What are some fresh, fun, and trendy ways that you can promote if it's your job openings or a sales post or an educational message? For example, here at ALLO, as far as hiring is concerned, we've done a couple of different things, including Facebook Lives with our director of recruiting, to really show the audience what it's about working here at ALLO, what some of the benefits are, like free ALLO service. We've also done interviews with the hiring manager. So that gives the person looking for a role a really good idea of who they would work with on a day-to-day basis, what some of the qualifications are for that particular role. Sometimes when we don't have a specific job to highlight, it's all about our culture and how fun it is to work here. And that's where we'll get in a little bit later of some of the other fun things that we've done on Instagram. And then third, but not last, because it is the most important, you have to strategize the best time to post. So the days and times that your audience is active matters. If you can get that content in front of them when they are most engaged on that particular social platform, the likelihood that your engagement numbers are going to increase is going to be very high. The way, how do we create all of this content? There's lots of low cost and free tools out there. Canva, I think, is the most popular one. It's definitely taken off within the past few years. If you're looking for a platform where you can do graphic design, create flyers, create images for social media, but some other things that they've added to their subscription, their monthly subscription, is a design school. So it gives you tips and tricks on how you can perfect your graphic design art, as well as a tool where you can schedule your content to post on particular platforms. And they even have an area where you can build your own content calendar.
Excuse me. The next one that I'll kind of touch on is CapCut. CapCut is a very easy video editing platform that you can use. In fact, I just used it the other day. I took a video of one of my coworkers who was a little bit nervous to be on video, as we can kind of both attest to today. And she was kind of stammering a little bit. And so CapCut, it's super easy to slice, dice, chop, and paste, little video snippets wherever you need. Another thing that's nice about CapCut is that it makes it easy to find reel trends, REEL, like an Instagram reel, not real REAL. Create those reel templates and just brainstorm some fresh ideas. The next one is Instagram templates. And this one I think is very easy to use. So I am also guilty of mindlessly scrolling Instagram. I do a lot of scrolling. And so when I am scrolling Instagram, in the back of my mind, even when I'm at home, I'm thinking, what would be a good reel that we could recreate to post on the ALLO page? And so you can, while you're scrolling, you can hit the save button on audio while you're watching reels. And then when I get to work the next day, I'll rally up a few of the troops from the office and we will recreate one of these reels using that saved audio. It's super easy to use and it's super fun to create your own reels using trending audio with some of your coworkers. Both of these platforms are great resources to find trending reels and really just help you spin to benefit your business.
And Janessa and I just wanted to ask a question to the group, and feel free to pop your answers into the chat. But how many of you have the time to stay up to date with all of the different changes that are going on as far as social media is concerned? Yeah, we don't either. We don't have the time for it. And that's okay, because what we do use instead is Social Media Today, which is a free email newsletter that we get every single morning. It breaks down any specific changes that may be happening on the social media platforms. But the cool thing too is they have different studies that they'll do with Facebook, for example, or Instagram on what is working with audiences, what isn't working. The type of graphic designs that are really cutting through some of the noise. So that's a good tool to use as well. As Grammarly, I'm sure most of you have probably heard of Grammarly. It's a way that you can post your message in there or your copy and do a quick one-over just to make sure that you don't have any grammatical errors or spelling mistakes. Again, it doesn't catch everything, nor should it. It's still important that you do a look over and do your own copy editing as well. But it is a good way just to make sure that your message and copy is polished.
Okay, the one thing that I hope you take from this presentation today is keeping it simple. Creating content does not have to be hard or a task that you dread doing. If you stick to the basics, we think that you will have successful content. And these 4 things on this slide are what we think is sticking to the basics. So the first thing is authentic content. One of the things that we have found is organic images of our team members is what performs best on each of our social media pages. Organic images can include your teammates working, whether it be at a desk or out in the field. You're sharing a coffee with a teammate. Some of the teammates collaborating on a group project together. Like I said, field work, kind of getting those boots on the ground people, showing like what a day in the life of one of those workers is. And honestly, just highlighting any aspect of your company. Your customers will love to see what kind of the behind the scenes look of your company's operations. The next thing is no overworked designs. We have said it before, Canva rocks, but not so much for creating these social media images. It's very easy to create something that looks like an ad in Canva. And so when your consumer sees that as they're scrolling online, they'll probably just scroll right past it, because if I see something looks like an ad, I'm like, oh, I don't want to spend any money. I better keep scrolling. So we would recommend just using images of your teammates, incorporating images of your teammates or your products and services that you offer on your social media pages. This brings me to no stock images. Canva has a plethora of stock images.
Too many sometimes.
Way too many. But these we have found don't really perform that well, because you can tell that they are stock images and they're not authentic to your business. This is where, like I said, we use pictures that we have snapped of our teammates for our social media pages. And the last point is short and to the point copy. It is so fun to brag about your company and how many good things you're doing in the community, how successful you are, and give in-depth explanations of products. But what we think is important is to give a little snippet of, your product, your company, or whatever your social media post is about, but then link them to your website. The goal is to get customers to your website to purchase your products and apply for the positions that you have open. And so linking to the website will generate more traffic to your website, which is a plus. And then it will also, hopefully, I mean, they end up purchasing a product while they're there as well.
We can't stress this enough. Getting creative is the most important thing. I'm sure you would agree that the reason that you're in the role that you're in is because you like getting creative. It's fun, right? And as Janessa mentioned earlier, it doesn't have to be hard, nor should it. I know one thing that someone pointed out to me not too long ago is every third item that you see on your Facebook feed is an advertisement. So like Janessa said, you have to think through, how do you cut through all the noise? How do you make sure that your social media content stands out against your competitor or another company that you may be competing to fill these job positions? So here are just 3 examples of ways that we've done that recently. Here at ALLO, work-life balance is very important, and we pride ourselves on having a very good vacation package for our employees. And so what we did is we found a statistic on what the average employee in the United States receives as far as paid holidays. And then we flipped the script and we said, we're not average. Here's the amount of holidays and vacation time that we give to our employees. And then the call to action, of course, was a link to our hiring page. And as you can see, that performed very well for us on Facebook. Our organic reach was 2,207 with 51 engaged users and 25 clicks on the link to our careers page on our website. The second one is an Instagram reel with the trending audio. This one was that song that goes, "What you looking for? We got what you looking for." So our work environment, and we don't just say this, it really is, it's very fun and vibrant. And that's what's important about our culture here at ALLO. And so we wanted to showcase that. And again, it did very well for us as well, with our organic reach being 2,175 and 103 engaged users and 16 shares. Summertime is usually when our event season ramps up. Again, going back to our local core value, it's very important for us to be out and about and serving those that work in the communities that we are serving. And so with event season comes a lot of additional hands on deck. And so we knew that we were going to need to hire a brand connections intern to help us with getting those projects and events up off the ground. And so what we did is we spotlighted one of our current brand connections interns, kind of like a day in the life vibe of what she does on a day-to-day basis. And then the call to action, of course, was like, if this is kind of your gig, play on fiber internet there, if this is your gig, go ahead and apply. And that worked really well for us out on LinkedIn. Our organic reach was 2,374 with 418 users, or 418 engaged users. But I think the most important part there is it was 355 clicks on that particular job alone. So that was important for us because we got the opportunity to get to know quite a bit of candidates there for that particular job opening. And just a few more here, just to kind of show you some variety. So recently we've had an opening on our team, on our creative marketing team. And so Janessa and another one of our teammates, Morgan, hopped on a quick video just to let the audience know what it's like working in this role at ALLO. Again, did very well for us, 1,908 impressions with 139 engaged users. And the clicks on that particular role were 89. The second one is a job opening that we have for our MDU account representatives. So those are our representatives that work specifically with apartment complexes and tenants in those apartment complexes to get services for them. But instead of just saying, hey, here's the job, here's what's open, here's what you do, we kind of tied it into how much we are growing. Like, did you know that we've hired almost 2,000 employees recently or within the past year? And we're growing so much, we need your help. Come join our team and be a part of what we're doing here at ALLO. Again, that was on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, you can't see it there on that picture, but Impressions for that one was 2,196 with 146 engaged users and 82 clicks. And then the last one was spotlighting our technical support team. Those folks that work on that team are some of the most important people that we have here at ALLO, because they do proactive work on the back end to make sure that our customers don't experience any type of issues with their internet service or TV service. And so we really wanted to spotlight all of the different people that work on that team that help us provide that exceptional service for our employees. Organic reach there on Facebook did really well, 3,555 with 213 engaged users and 164 clicks on that particular job posting. And so just want to point out there that that's just not a link to the website for our careers page. That is the job itself, that where they would go and click and apply, because that's important too.
Yeah.
So when it comes to designing social media content and writing copy, how do you know what's going to work? You don't. And I think that that's the beautiful part about it. You really don't know what's going to work until you try a couple of different things. And that's why we also think that it's very important that you do your own A and B testing. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but it's about experimenting as much as possible. So when you do A and B testing, you're going to pick a few different variables. Try not to pick too many. Some of those variables may be which social media platform you're posting the content on, what time you're posting it. If you're using a Canva design compared to like a picture, for example, and then you're going to post and monitor. The most important thing about that part of it is making sure that you don't share the message at the exact same time, because you don't want to overwhelm your audience or bombard them with the same message. So posting them at different times is very important as well. And then you're going to measure those results. What worked well, what didn't work well. And then you just kind of move along and tweak your social media strategy as you go. So this is an example of a blog that our email marketing specialist, Carrie, wrote about her onboarding process here at ALLO. The first picture on the top was an Instagram story that we did with a short call to action for anyone to click on the blog link. The second one was a picture of Carrie, and then a little bit of tidbit about what the blog was including. And then the call to action again is to click on the blog link. Surprisingly, as we've found out over the months and years, the authentic content did best for us, not the overworked Canva creation or Canva Instagram story design that we tried. It was just a natural picture of her with the call to action for the blog link.
Which always kind of blows my mind, you know, like
I
when
know.
you spend a lot of time creating a graphic like the one with the pink on it, you'd think it's going to perform well because you've spent a lot of time creating it, but that's just not the case that we have found anyways.
It's not. And it kind of goes back to what Janessa was saying earlier. There's so many advertisements out on social media that it's almost like you, again, have to flip the script and make it look like it's not an advertisement for it to perform very well.
Right. Okay, so what do we do with all of these posts that we've created that are performing very well? Well, instead of taking more time to create even more posts, we found that we can recycle posts and even our other content and either, you know, like post it a few months away from the last time we posted it on the same platform, or we can take something that we posted on LinkedIn that performed well, share it on Facebook, vice versa, throw it on Instagram, you know, just kind of recycling those posts. So you want to find your top performing posts. As Chasity said earlier, you can go in the back end and find your engagement. I know in Meta, it's pretty easy to find. And if you have any questions on that, you can email us and we'd be happy to help you through that. But recycling posts does save time and resources when you can re-leverage that post and use it again to hopefully get more traffic to your website. We did some research, and Zoho Social, which is a low-cost social media management platform, recommended these 5 things. The first one was to maintain a content library. As Chasity said earlier, she referenced our content calendar. Social media is so fast and it's very hard to keep track of what you've posted. And so having this content calendar makes it so that you can go back and reference that month after month and see which posts have performed well. And even going back, like we reference our 2023 calendar, even for when we're creating content for 2024. So it's nice to be able to look at that month after month and year after year. You can create new iterations of the same content. However, we recommend not just copying and pasting. So as you can see here on this image, on December 15th, we used this graphic on LinkedIn and we said, thumbs up to our fiber fans for voting us the best ISP in 10 competitions throughout our fiber hoods. From the bottom of our hearts, we cannot thank those residents and businesses enough. And then on March 20th, we used that image again, and this time we highlighted that message on Facebook. That text is kind of small for me to read, so if you can read it, great. Otherwise, you can go find it on our Facebook page, but it is a different message with the same feel. The third thing was use posts seasonally. Is there a department that you're always looking to increase more sales, or you're trying to hire more people in a certain department? Save those posts to recruit candidates the next time around, or to increase sales the next time you're needing a little bit of a bump in those sales. One thing that we like to do, specifically Halloween comes to mind, is using themed images of our employees around these, little holidays. We have one video that I think we post every year, and it's of one of our teammates doing a video for social media, and someone comes up behind her with like a toy spider, and throws it at her, and she jumps. And I think it's one of the funniest things, and we do use that kind of year after year because it
gets good engagement.
Yes, it always performs well.
Mhm.
The fourth thing is to celebrate your milestones. As we said earlier, ALLO just celebrated our 20th anniversary. And so at least a couple of times a month, we were talking about how we've been in business for 20 years, talking about how we've changed the internet game. So just kind of celebrating those big anniversaries or those big milestones with your audience. We got really good engagement on those posts too. Or have you had a successful product that launched on this day in history? Your audience loves to see behind the scenes looks at your business, kind of seeing how your products and services have progressed over the years. So that's also something that's a lot of fun for consumers to see. The last thing was reposting user-generated content. So if you posted an Instagram poll asking people if they preferred American or cheddar cheese, and you were really surprised that they chose American, that would be something that you could post to Facebook if it pertained to your business. Now, we would never post anything about cheese, but if you have a cheese business, I mean, you could. Or if you got some interesting feedback on a Facebook post, you could share that to LinkedIn. Whatever you do, just make sure that that content fits in your feed for that platform. And then the next thing, we recycle posts for hiring as well. This works for our day-to-day content. And like we said earlier, we post entry-level positions on Facebook, and then professional positions on LinkedIn, and use our Instagram to highlight our culture. So this first image is something that we posted on Facebook. The second image is on LinkedIn, and that's a quote from one of our employees, which we find perform really well in recruiting new candidates as well. And then the last one is an Instagram reel, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But that's kind of where we have a lot of fun and create those fun and trending reels and encourage people to come work with us. So we'd be remiss to not share a couple of our favorite Instagram reels with you.
Okay.
So this reel is something that was trending back in November, and one of our social team members shared it with us, and we were all together in Lincoln at that time. And so we thought it was the perfect opportunity to create a little bit of a hiring message. As you can see, we posted working versus working at a company that cares about culture. And the second one kind of shows, let me close out of that so we don't get the sound on it. Oops. Okay, and then the second one is another one that we spun a hiring message on as well.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep. What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
So our message on this one was find a job where you become besties with your coworkers. Once again, we were kind of promoting the culture at ALLO and how you really do become great friends with your coworkers because we're such a close-knit group.
So you may be wondering, did we succeed? In 2023, we had 1,409 candidates that found out about an open career opportunity at ALLO on social media. Of those candidates, 45% of them found us on LinkedIn, 31.3% on Facebook, 18.3% on Google, 5.2% on Instagram. And I have to show you this. This little white line here, that's 0.2% on Twitter. So we learned a couple of different things about our social media strategy here. One, we're not going to use Twitter or X for any of our job postings. The demographic there is mostly males between the ages of 25 to 35 who are very tech savvy. And their ultimate goal for coming to our Twitter or X page is to just engage with us about all of the different tech that we do behind the scenes and to nerd out a little bit. As far as our social media strategy with hiring, we do feel like we're right on the pulse. If you notice, a lot of the numbers here match the national average for where folks are going to look for job opportunities. So we really think that we've accomplished a great goal there. But our work is never done. It's always about tweaking and revising to keep up with the constant changes of social media. We wanted to take just a moment here before we open it up for questions to thank you, Zoe, and also thank Grow Nebraska for inviting ALLO back again to talk about our social media strategy. We really hope that everyone that was able to attend today is going to walk out of here with at least a couple of tips on things that they can do to increase their social media engagement. So now we'll go ahead and open it up for questions.
Awesome. Let's see here. I saw some in the chat. Roberta asked, what about Pinterest?
Ooh, so we don't do much on Pinterest, actually.
Yeah, we don't do well, I mean, we use Pinterest, obviously.
I use Pinterest every night to find something for dinner, but
we use Pinterest quite a bit, like personally, but we haven't decided to move on into Pinterest. I don't really know why we haven't made that decision. We manage quite a few different social media platforms at this time. I know that we've had discussions too about moving into TikTok. I just don't think that we're ready there at that particular moment. I kind of mentioned earlier in the presentation that since last year, we've added 3 new Facebook pages, one for Colorado, one for Arizona, and we also acquired a new business. So we've added a new ALLO business Facebook page. And so our focus this year really is going to be growing our audiences on those pages. But yeah, that sounds like something maybe we should do in the future.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Tanya asked, how many platforms should a small business launch at a time if they have no social media?
I would start, like we said, with, trying to find your demographic and seeing where they're at. So if you see, like I said, people from ages 30 to 64 are on Facebook. And honestly, when I go to search a business online, I find that most of them do have a Facebook page. I feel like Facebook is kind of the place that a lot of people go, right at first to find a business and kind of find out about their services. So I would recommend that you have a Facebook page.
At least.
And then, if you find that you can manage that, no problem. Instagram integrates really easily with Facebook. And so you can cross post at the same time, or schedule them at separate times as well. So I would start with Facebook and then kind of go from there.
Agreed.
Awesome. And then she also asked, what are some good content calendar templates or softwares for people to use?
Good question. We create our content calendar from scratch every single month. We have basically, it's a Word document with a list of all of the different messages that we want to share on our social media platforms every specific month. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy, but even if you use if you use Canva, they have templates of content calendars in there that can give you a good start. The other thing that I would recommend is Social Media Today, which was another free tool that we use. They have some advice on how to build content calendars. And I think you can also search by industry on like what your ultimate goal is for social media, of course, to give you some ideas on things that you can post too. I think it's called National Holiday. It's a website that you can go to see like what holidays are coming up. And we do that every so often too, to see which ones resonate with our business and our messaging. So that's another good one. And also works good for filler just to engage with your audience.
Let's see. Monique said, I've never heard of content calendars. I currently use Bagaro for clients to book appointments, but I would love to utilize this. So I think you should like that piece of information.
Yes.
Tanya said, do you notice when you edit a video through CapCut that the views are low? It's a great tool, but my TikTok views aren't as high whenever I use CapCut.
So that is kind of interesting. One thing that I would recommend is making sure that like you're not using a bunch of like Canva looking images, because when like you make what's it called when you like the main view screen that like you scroll through before it starts playing, if that looks like a Canva image, maybe that's why it's not getting as many views. I don't know that we've seen that in ours.
We haven't seen that, and we use Instagram templates quite a bit as well as CapCut. So we haven't really seen a dip in numbers when we use CapCut. But again, since our Instagram page filters into our careers page on our website, our goal is to limit the amount of text that we put anywhere on those Instagram either posts or reels, because since it feeds into our website, we want anyone that's coming to look for a career at ALLO just to be able to see what it's like working here rather than having to read about what it's like working here. And so on our Instagram, we really take the approach to just make things very simple, short, to the point, and fun.
Okay. Susan said you're funny. I don't know which part she was laughing about.
We try.
Roberta said, isn't LinkedIn just for job openings, etc.?
You can take it. You got it.
Actually, when I was in college, that's the only thing that I ever used LinkedIn for. But LinkedIn is the fastest growing social media platform today. And a lot of people on that platform find networks and connections where they can talk about the industry. They can talk about what's working well, what's working well for hiring, what they want to see changed in the future. Like if they were to start their own business, we've had lots of luck on our LinkedIn page, not only sharing information about like what jobs we have open, but we share information of like behind the scenes on projects that we're working on that are going to impact the communities that we serve.
And we share blog posts, like from our
They
blog,
love
we
blogs.
share
They love it.
blog posts. LinkedIn is like very much a professional platform. And so any, little piece about your business that they could take and like kind of use for their own benefit, people really love engaging with content like that.
Polls too. I've seen other businesses use polls on LinkedIn, and they get lots of engagement.
We should try that.
We should try
We
that.
should do a poll.
We've got 2 LinkedIn pages now, so
We need all the
Working it
ideas.
And I think that was it. I said love it. Tanya said so great, and Susan said great info. So, any last
Awesome.
minute questions anyone wants to toss in the chat quick before we wrap up for the afternoon?
And we did just want to say too, if you have any questions that you think of after the presentation, obviously you could send them to Zoe or you can email us. My name is just our first name dot last name at allofiber.com. And I think that you should have our names from the presentation. So our emails are always open. We're here to help everybody get better at social media.
Yeah, I will have their contact information in the recording send out. So for those of you watching the recording, if you have a question, you can reach out to them. And even those that were on live, you can still reach out to them for a question. So I haven't seen any others flow in. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up for the afternoon. But of course, I want to say thank you both for taking time out of your day to present today. I myself took a lot of great takeaways, and thank you to everyone that participated live. And if you're watching the recording, we missed you, but we're happy that you're watching it at your own time. If you have any questions, you can contact me at zoe@grownebraska.org, or you can give our store a call, and any of our Grow Nebraska team members would be happy to help you out. And then we have some great upcoming trainings. Our next one will be May 1st, which is next Wednesday, and that's with Maria Duran, the Google presenter, and she's going to cover how to use YouTube to grow your business. And then on May 16th, we'll have Josefina Loza back, and she will cover creating a marketing plan that works, a step-by-step guide for startups. And then on May 23rd, we'll have strengthening cybersecurity defenses. So these are all live on our website. If you go to grownebraska.org, there's an upcoming trainings tab that you can click, or feel free to scan this QR code and it will take you right there. We have them all up for registration up until like June or July even maybe. So go ahead and get registered now, and then you don't have to worry about it later. And then, of course, we just talked about social media. So we would love to have you guys follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, X, Facebook, TikTok, you name it, we're on it. So feel free to give us a follow, and we will follow you guys back. And we post all our trainings on there. We post awesome articles about Nebraska businesses, and then, of course, awesome Nebraska products that you can shop from. And then, as always, feel free to leave the Grow Nebraska Foundation a Google review. We love to hear how you guys are liking our services and what we have done for you and your business. So feel free to just search Grow Nebraska Foundation on Google, or of course, scan the QR code. That is all my announcements. So thank you both again for presenting today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
again, Zoe.
Have a good day.
You too.